Big Friday night in the association, a full slate of games, and opening week continues across the NBA. It's been full of surprises in more ways than one. Plenty of teams still with their home openers coming up tonight, so a lot of excitement for those NBA fans as well. It's been a fun week so far. You know it's going to be a great weekend coming up here. So let's get going right here on FanDuel Sports Net Live. That's where we are here as we continue our look inside the NBA this week, and it's great to have you aboard here. I'm Craig Kashan along with the coach, the czar, Mike Fratello, who continues to look inside the NBA for us here this week. And Coach, you look at what's happened so far. We got all the double overtime games, single overtime games, guys putting up career highs already, and we're just a few days into the league. What do you make of all this?
What an incredible beginning to the season. I want to go back and remember when I was coaching, this is day 26 that the teams have been practicing and playing. We still would be having 2 more days of practice. It was a 28-day training camp. We're in day 26, and they're on their second game, and some going into their third games. Things have moved up and changed, like the scores have changed from way back when.
Yeah, the scores are definitely changing for sure. But guess what? We're going to talk a little the czar defense coming up a little bit later in the show. So I know, Mike, that you are prepped and ready for that one. But let's take a look at a full slate of games across FanDuel Sports Networks here tonight. And we start out in Toronto. The Bucks are taking on the Raptors. Both those teams, the only ones on the slate here who are undefeated here right now. And Giannis, get this, averaging only 20.1 points a game in his career against Toronto. That's the second lowest against any franchise. Hawks on the road again. They're taking on the Magic. The Hawks had a very disappointing performance in Game 1. And guess what? They won't have Kristaps Porzingis. He is out with illness here tonight as well. Cavs 0-1 to start the year. They are out in Brooklyn to take on the Nets. And, of course, the Cavs battling a lot of injuries here right now. We'll get more into that game coming up in just a bit. Pistons and Rockets, both teams looking for their first victory. The Pistons, a big comeback against the Bulls the other night, falls just short. They missed 6 of their final 7 shots in that one. The Heat and the Grizzlies, well, the Heat only began 0-2 since the last 15 seasons. So we look at the Heat 0-1 to start out, and the Grizzlies 1-0 on the season. And then the late game tonight at 10:30 Eastern time, the Suns and the Clippers. The Clippers trail by as many as 37 points in their opener against the Jazz. So they are looking to rebound here tonight. And if you're looking for ways to watch your local team across the FanDuel Sports Network, you can find us on your cable or satellite channel lineup. You can log in to your television provider to stream on the FanDuel Sports Network app. You can also subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online, or you can watch us on Prime Video with an add-on subscription as well. So lots of ways to pick up FanDuel Sports Network. Let's go back to the big game last night. It's the rematch of the 2025 NBA Finals, the Thunder and the Pacers. Of course, the Thunder started at home, got their rings the other night with a double OT win against Houston. But the Thunder must like double OTs because that's how the first 2 games have gone for them. They win it 10 on Thursday night in double OT. Indiana minus Tyrese Halliburton, of course, who's out for the season. Also didn't have their backup point guard, T.J. McConnell, and also lost Andrew Nembhard in the first half as well. A huge road win to remember from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who scores a career-best 55 points, a 141-135 final. Get this, 70 fouls called in this game. And the Thunder, the first team in history to start the season with consecutive double overtime games. So I'll tell you what, Mike, you look at this game. I know it's a rematch from last year's championship, of course, and you have a few guys that are out in this one. But what a way for everybody else to pick up and showcase their talent between these two teams who you know are going to fight to be back in that championship this year.
Well, you mentioned those guys for Indiana who were injured and out, but let's also remember Turner is now wearing a Bucks uniform, so they were missing their starting center for the last 9 seasons. And one thing that I've noticed, minute restriction has disappeared in the early games in the NBA, because if you're in a game like these games we've seen these first couple of days, you can't afford to put your best guy on the bench or your second best guy on the bench when it's a one-point game, back and forth, in overtime, in double overtime. So they've thrown caution out the window. Let's hope it doesn't cause anybody to come up with an injury.
So we're saying that the first game or two of the season actually is that important by the time the season ends. That's good to hear for sure. We love seeing that effort for sure. Let's take a look, though, at what SGA has put together in his first two games, scoring 55 points on Thursday. That's a career high for him. 26 of those, Mike, coming in the fourth quarter and overtime. And, oh, by the way, he got to the free throw line, 23 of 26. This all coming just last night.
And that's the key for all great scorers. They find a way to get to the free throw line. Houston had actually done an incredible job on him, keeping him off balance, changing the defenders, and double-teaming him, making give the ball up in the first half. I believe that 5 at the half. But then, as you mentioned, he came back with that huge second half and overtimes and wound up leading them to that win. This guy is so hard to guard because of his size. When he elevates, he gets a look up over the top. The first step of his is so dynamic. He's by the guy once he puts the ball down. And then if you go anticipating he's driving, he just steps back, creates space, and he's a deadly shooter. He's such a great player.
So when you talk about all the things he does and beats defenses, you're a defensive genius. How do you even start with, if it's your team and your matchup against him, how do you even start with your team and how to be able to, and you're not going to be able to stop this guy, of course, but as you mentioned, he does everything right. How do you do anything right defensively?
You have to have a bulldog on your team. You have to have one of those guys that's going to stick his nose in there and understand that a player like Shea is going to score points. He's going to touch the ball enough, handle the ball enough, take enough shots. You cannot give him a lot of free points at the foul line. So the idea is to defend without fouling. That's the ultimate in coaching basketball at the defensive end. Defend without fouling. You foul too much, they go to the line, they pick up all those easy points. So trying to guard Shea, you might want to try and change up defenders, give that guy a blow that works so hard, put him on somebody else for a couple of minutes, then bring him back. If you're loaded with good defenders, that's a good thing. But to be a good defensive team, you have to have the right mindset. You have to have a mental toughness, a mental discipline, a physical toughness, and it's a high basketball IQ. And even more so nowadays, with all the switching that's going on, you wind up with your 7-foot center on a point guard that's quick going to the basket. Are you coming to give help? Are you all of a sudden packing it in the lane, giving up the three-point shot? A lot of decisions to be made.
Yeah, that's really good points for sure. No question about that. And then, so you look what he did last night, and then his team won in double overtime in the opener against the Rockets as well. Let's take a look at what SGA has done in his first two games so far here this season, averaging 45 points a game. He's played 93 minutes already. He's attempted 57 shots. And then you talk about the defensive game plan against him, but he's putting up monumental numbers that true Hall of Famers like Wilt and Michael Jordan have been able to do in their first two games as well. I mean, this guy just appears to be unstoppable at this point, and what a start for OKC and SGA.
Breaking down that game, you kind of wonder with Indy missing the players that you mentioned a few seconds ago, how did they hang in this game? How did they take it to double overtime? Well, Indy's bench outscored OKC's bench 58-36. That's a big differential for the benches coming in. Fast break points, Indy 23-13. Second chance points, Indy 18-11. And how about points in the paint, Indy 56-50. So they won those really tough areas to keep it close, give them a chance to win in the second overtime.
And so we also mentioned, obviously, the big name that the Pacers were missing in Tyrese Halliburton. Had a really good season, obviously, last year, Mike, helping this team get to the finals before they bowed out. But you look at nearly the 19 points a game that they're missing. Maybe not as much is him controlling the basketball. They're missing those 9+ assists per game right now, and they will all season long, won't they?
Yeah, and you would think that McConnell, obviously, as well as he played for him last year, you're saying, okay, well, Halliburton's out, but, McConnell gets a chance to step up and start. The problem is they didn't have McConnell last night, so they're counting on Nembhard, they're counting on Mathurin, and other guys from that second unit, Ben Shepherd, et cetera, to step up and get the ball down the court as quickly as they can, because they know Oklahoma City's defense is going to be all over them, and it'll make it that much harder to get into their offense. So why not attack in transition every chance you get, and why not force a couple steals to make it really easy?
Well, I don't think a lot of people expected to see this type of an outcome in this game, considering the injuries, especially in the roster change for the Indiana Pacers, but they gave it a run before bowing out in double overtime. The other big game tomorrow night, Coach, or last night, Coach, was the Nuggets and the Warriors. Of course, the Nuggets and the Joker, and he got his triple-double last night. But the Warriors, they're the team. You certainly can't sleep on them. It was their home opener yesterday. This one also goes OT as we take a look at some of the highlights of this one. And OT, of course, the theme in the opening week of the NBA. Golden State holds their home court and wins this one 137-131 on Thursday. Aaron Gordon put up a career-high 50 for the Nuggets, but not enough as Steph Curry notches 42 in the Warriors win. Gordon broke a tie with 25 seconds to go in regulation, but Curry was able to answer with 4 seconds left to send this one to the extra sessions. The Joker, as I mentioned, finished with 21 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. And he joins Oscar Robertson as the only players with 4 triple-doubles in season openers. So obviously the Joker, everyone, it seems anyway, is picking the Nuggets as the most challenging team, if you will, to OKC to try to win the West this year. What do you make of this opening game? This was just another knockdown battle in the NBA, Mike.
Well, with Golden State, the things that jump out, Curry got off to a much better start in Game 2 than he did in Game 1. He came on late in Game 1 to help them win that one. And in Game 2, that huge shot, at the end, he was at the logo making that shot, not at the three-point line in the end. Jimmy Butler just helps your team win. He's a tough, hard-nosed player, makes his free throws when he gets fouled. He'll defend for you. And what a great pickup for them, because Butler is a winner. He likes working hard. He likes competing hard. He likes winning basketball games. And I guess they're being rewarded for giving Jonathan Kuminga that big contract and keeping him around, because there were rumors that he might be on his way out. Draymond Green just keeps on being Draymond Green. He has the ball in his hands, and the head coach trusts him so much to make the right decision, make the right pass, and then defensively, he'll guard everybody on the other team if he has to. That's how good a defender he is.
Yeah, if you're everybody but the Warriors in the West, you're like, why can't this team go away? But you mentioned all those names that keep coming back and keep surprising and keep winning like we saw last night. Over on the Nuggets side, of course, you got the Joker, you got Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, of course, their staple, their big three. They added a few big names. One of those, Cam Johnson. You look at the box score from last night. He got his 32 minutes, but only 5 points last night. Do you see him still trying to? I know it's only one game in, but he's got to find his way among those big three, doesn't he?
He will. It's just the first game. A new guy coming in to a team that has won a championship recently, who has an MVP on the team. Most of them tend to sit back a little bit and say, where do I fit in here? I don't want these guys thinking I'm coming in here trying to steal all the thunder from them. So he'll work his way in. He'll pick his spots. The veteran guys will sit with him and say, look, don't sit back too much. We brought you here to help us out. So assert yourself. Be the player we know you are. They brought back an oldie from the championship days in Brown, and that was a terrific pickup because he'll play defense. He'll make a big shot for you every now and then. I've seen Denver play 3 times already, counting exhibition season, and they are a very good team. They're a much improved team from Denver from a year ago. They've added shooting.
Yep, indeed, they certainly have, and your guy Aaron Gordon out there. We mentioned the 50 points that he had, and that was in the opener. He broke Alex English's franchise record for a season opener with 47 points. That was all the way back to 1985. So you got two big scores right there. We all know where Alex English ended up after he was done playing. But Gordon's 10 3-pointers. I mean, this guy, boy, the last few years is just taken on a whole new level right now, hasn't he?
He has, and remember, this guy was a mixture of small forward, power forward back in his Orlando days. Couldn't figure out what he was. Nobody could ever figure it out early on. And then as he matured and developed in his career, and it seems like if you put people around this guy named Jokic, Jokic has a habit of making him look pretty good. Gordon knew he had to work on his perimeter game. He's been diligent in the work he's put in there. The coaching staff has really helped him develop his game. You can post him up. He'll take you off the dribble now. But the biggest thing is you see the confidence that he has in taking the three-point shot, in making it. Is he going to do that night in and night out? Most guys don't make 10 out of 11 or 9 out of 10 from the three-point line. But Gordon's grown in his game, and that's certainly helped the Nuggets to win a championship.
Well, I've seen the last few years, guys, certain players hitting that 50-point mark, and, it just seems so rare, obviously. But in a season opener, the most points in the team season opener in NBA history, and Gordon getting right up there. Wilt Chamberlain had 56 back in 1962. Michael Jordan, 54 back in 1989. Elgin Baylor on that list with 52. And then Aaron Gordon and Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Michael Jordan, all with 50 there. So obviously some big things, some great accomplishments we've already seen here in just a few days here to start the NBA season. You got the Joker against the Warriors. You talk about the triple-double with him, the fourth triple-double he has had in a season opener. Doesn't matter what game it is with this guy, right? It could be 1, it could be 81. It really doesn't matter with the Joker because he just remains arguably the most consistent player in the game.
What I've liked about this season thus far, and like I told you, I've seen them three different times. I like his level of enthusiasm right now. He's excited about the beginning of the season. He's excited about playing with this team. He couldn't knock down the three. He had a hard time before he made his first three-point shot. But he's wide open. I'm not sure I want to challenge him every night from behind the three-point line. But he's probably the best passing big man that we have in the game. And when they went zone, he would find that opening. He would find that seam, whether he did it himself by running to those spaces and his teammates were looking for him, or whether they put him on the outside and he was making the passes, threading the needle through the zone defense that Golden State was using. He was very effective at the offensive end.
Yep, he certainly was. And another big guy, as we take a look at, action from the opening week, Victor Wembanyama. How tall is this guy? 7'4", 7'5", 7'6", 7'7". That's kind of the big question mark this week. But he had that massive game to open things up for the Spurs against the Mavs the other night, 40 points and 15 rebounds. They list him for the 3 blocks, but I mean, this guy was so disruptive. You almost say the guy's not human out on this court. And man, what a jump he's already made from what we saw last year to what we're going to expect to see here this season.
You remember there were times when he first came in that they listed him as a power forward, and now we see him night in and night out. He's in that center position, but he's a center who does so much more athletically. He'll bring the ball down the floor. He can go down into the post area, but he'll stop behind the three-point line as well. He's a terrific passer, very unselfish player, diligent worker in practice, will lead the league in block shots for many, many of the years that he's in the league. He's a special guy, one of those that come along once every so often. And doesn't it seem strange that San Antonio keeps getting those once-in-a-lifetime kind of guys that show up in their building?
Yeah, indeed. And just guys that you just got to wonder how they're put together, how they function. We're going to talk a little bit about that right now with, back in your day of coaching, you had Dominique Wilkins, who nobody could stop. And he was doing things that nobody had seen before either. It's pure entertainment for us to watch on the outside, but it must be something to actually coach a guy and have that guy have that impact on your team?
Well, Dominique was a very special player. I mean, I love this young man. He was the heart and soul. He's Mr. Hawk, okay? And everybody in this city loves Dominique Wilkins. He's still involved with the program, doing their games on TV. And what a special guy. We had to actually tell him the first year that I got the job in Atlanta, it was his second year in the league. He'd come in after going out to warm up. He'd be drenched, soaking wet. And then we'd see him a little bit later on in the game. We saw fatigue maybe setting in. And we sat down as a staff and said, he's using up so much energy in the pregame warm-ups for the crowd. The people would show up an hour ahead of time to watch him out there dunking 25 or 30 times, all different ways. We said, Nick, you got to have something left down the stretch, so back off a couple of the dunks maybe. Don't make them so emphatic that you have to get the crowd cheering an hour before the game so much. And those kind of guys come along. He would play a game 365 days a year if it was scheduled that way. That's how much he loved playing basketball. That's what kind of special guy he was. But, you know, you mentioned something about size a little bit ago, about Wemby is 7'4", listed on the NBA guy. I had a guy that made him look small. I had a guy named Jorge Gonzalez, who was 7'6". There he is. Yes, Jorge from Argentina. And he had a beautiful soft touch. He had a bad knee. That was the problem. But think about it. He came from Argentina, and so did a guy named Manu Ginobili. We couldn't have gotten Ginobili. We had to get Jorge. Imagine that. We might have done something different in Atlanta if we had Manu Ginobili playing from Argentina. But the best part about this young man, a wonderful young man, TBS Turner Broadcasting had wrestling back then. They took this guy and they brought him to the camp in Florida where they taught you how to be a professional wrestler. They turned him into a pro wrestler who hung around 3-4 years wrestling. And his name was El Gigante, the giant. And that's where he made his career, in wrestling in the United States.
Hey, when you're elite, you're elite. If you're an elite athlete in the NBA and you can go wrestle big time, that's a great storyline for sure. Again, Wemby's final numbers, 40 points for him in that win over the Mavs, 15 rebounds and 3 blocks. We're going to take a break here right now, and you talk about freak athletes out there. Well, we're going to take a look at the Greek freak and get more on the Milwaukee Bucks start on the season. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Bucks are in action tonight in Toronto. Marcus Johnson is going to provide us with a full scouting report on Milwaukee's start to the season when we continue.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
All customers choose your own reward every day. FanDuel, play your game.
Shop security cameras this Halloween at Ring.com.
You know that feeling when you step out onto a trail and you have no idea what's around the next bend?
Bye, buddy.
That's my favorite part.
Woo! Unbelievable.
I've hiked a lot of trails, met a lot of amazing people, and learned one thing. That's that adventure isn't just about the miles, it's about the moments.
Woo! Cut that, please.
Don't cut that.
Turns out, are we there yet is the wrong question. The real question is, how did we get here?
What is there to say? This is breathtaking.
Catch it all on Epic Trails.
Hey, small business owners. Your company may need to file its beneficial ownership information with the federal government.
I'm always searching for the next incredible place to paddle.
Wow.
Every destination has a story, shaped by water, adventure, and the people who call it home. Out here, every stroke takes me somewhere new, through history, through culture, and through nature's raw beauty. Catch it all on Facing Waves.
Milwaukee Bucks are in action tonight against the Toronto Raptors. They have started out the season with a win in Washington. Of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo and his crew adding Miles Turner to the mix as well from the Indiana Pacers. And they're young and athletic and ready to roll, and they're trying to move to 2-0 on the season. And again, there are ways to remind you to catch FanDuel Sports Network. You can find us on your cable satellite channel lineup. You can also log into your television provider to stream on FanDuel Sports Network app, and you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online, or you can watch us on Prime Video with an add-on subscription as well. Now, as I mentioned, the Bucks are in action tonight against Toronto. Good start for them in their win over Washington. Giannis, a big game to help Milwaukee out. He had to welcome in his new buddy Miles Turner into the mix as well. They're the 1-2 punch up front now for the Milwaukee Bucks. For more on the Bucks start and what to expect here tonight and this year, let's check in with the Bucks television announcer, Marcus Johnson.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig. Listen, Giannis Antetokounmpo had 37 points in 27 minutes, if you can believe that. 37 points in 27 minutes. This is the 11th time that he scored 30 points, 10 rebounds, under 30 minutes. That's an NBA record. But for the Bucks, everything went as they would have hoped in terms of what they were trying to accomplish. The difference between this season and last season, they want to shoot more threes. They shot 28 threes in the first half alone, 44 for the game, shot over 40%. So they checked that box. They also did a nice job in terms of getting out in transition. I think 105 or so was the pace. And they did a really good job in that first half. 50% of their possessions, live ball rebounds, they got it in transition. So that was a good number for them. They did have a down spurt in that third quarter, allowed the Wizards to get back in the game. The Wizards were really good in transition themselves. So that's something to be aware of, something to be concerned with. But I thought overall for the Milwaukee Bucks, they accomplished what Doc Rivers wanted to accomplish. Now, coming into tonight's game against the Raptors, man, as our old buddy Ralph Lawler with the Clippers used to say, fasten your seatbelts, because this thing is going to be a track meet. The Raptors, 113 was their pace against the Atlanta Hawks. They want to get up and down the floor, 86 points in the paint. So the Bucks have got to do a good job of keeping the Raptors out of the paint. And the guy that scares me, of course, Scotty Barnes does his thing. R.J. Barrett both had 20-plus games against the Hawks. But Brandon Ingram, I've always loved his game. A versatile player, smooth player at his size. Long wingspan, about 7'3", but he's a guy that loves the mid-range game, second in the league in mid-range attempts last year to DeMar DeRozan. He likes to get to his spot, jump over smaller defenders. He'll be defended by A.J. Green, by Gary Trent Jr. a lot tonight, but look for Kyle Kuzma to try and get out there and do what he can to keep him quiet. So should be a great game tonight, a track meet here up in Toronto between these two teams who want to get out and run. But again, for the Bucks, the key is keep the Raptors out of the paint as much as possible and make them have to knock down perimeter shots. That's been a thorn in their sides for the last couple of years, and let's see if it continues tonight. So there you have it, Bucks Raptors, man. Put your track shoes on. Guys, back to you.
Well, Coach, Marcus had a good beat on the Bucks here. What's your takeaway on the Bucks this season, especially with the addition now of Miles Turner and of course, knowing that Giannis is still going to be Giannis?
A little bit more on his shoulders because Dame is no longer there back in Portland. He'll always be a candidate in that MVP race. Perfect replacement for Brook Lopez, a center that can rebound, that can block shots, and shoot the three ball when they brought in Miles Turner. And if you're worried about Dame going to Portland, who's going to be that guy to fill in? Obviously, it can always be Giannis handling the ball and attacking the rim. But they brought in Gary Harris for defense, and they brought in Cole Anthony for offense. So they're getting a little help from the outside by bringing those guys in, along with Turner. And Doc, as we heard Marcus talking about shooting more threes, Doc also wants to push the tempo a little bit more. When their defense gets a stop, he wants to get out and go a little bit faster than they have in the past.
Yeah, I think the Bucks got 44 three-point attempts off, and Doc wants 45, around 45 per game. And so they were right on cue for actually each half of basketball in that opener. Some of the Bucks off-season additions and departures, you mentioned Dame Lillard, obviously, and then Brooke Lopez and Pat Connaughton also not with the team here this year. They are in new places. And, of course, Miles Turner, the big addition in the middle. You mentioned Cole Anthony and Gary Harris, Amir Coffey as well. And I'll also note this, that Kevin Porter Jr., an ankle injury suffered in the first quarter of that opener the other day, and he will not play for sure in these next two games, tonight or when the Bucks move on to Cleveland later this weekend. So he's going to miss these two games, and then they'll figure out the severity of that ankle injury. But you got to have help surrounding Giannis. Giannis is going to have the ball in his hands a lot, Mike, but you need a guy like Kevin Porter Jr., and this guy fit in very nicely after the trade at midseason last year and had a great camp. This is a disappointment to lose him early.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented basketball player, and on the nights when he's good, he's really good, and he can help you win games. And he'll take a big shot. He's not afraid of any shot, and that's one of the knocks that's been against him, that sometimes he gets so caught up in the game and wanting to win and to make the big shot for his team that rather than make the right decision, a pass at that moment, he'll take the ball, keep it in his hands a little bit too long, and wind up taking a shot, which winds up being a poor shot, missed shot, turns into a fast break layup for the opponents. But he's maturing, he's getting a little bit older, a little more experience, and he's got the God-given talent to be a terrific NBA player, so you can't bypass him.
Well, the division, the Central, is pretty tough in the East, the one the Bucks are in. We saw the Pistons make a huge jump last year, plus 30 in the win column. They were clearly the surprise team from a year ago. This young team trying to get better here today and this season, I should say. The Pistons in action against the Rockets here tonight. And the Pistons, their style of play against the Rockets here in this one, they match up pretty well, don't they?
They're very similar in the mentalities of their head coaches, which translates to their players. Both of them want to really get after it at the defensive end of the floor. That big lineup that Houston put out there, 6'7", 6'11", 6'11", 6'11", against Oklahoma City on opening night, that's a big, long team. They really miss Van Vliet. That point guard spot is a problem for them. Yeah, you can have Durant bring the ball down. You can have other guys try and bring it down. Shepard came in the other night, and he's not a real point guard, but he did a heck of a job battling that tenacious Oklahoma City defense just to get the ball over the half-court line and try and get Houston into the offense. But Thompson is a terrific young player for them. Jabari Smith can really defend around the rim. So when you've got one of the all-time greats and Kevin Durant out there to score for you, this is a very, very good basketball team. I didn't even mention their center, who I thought took advantage of every mismatch in his favor and had a huge game. Sengun was really good.
Indeed, indeed. And so you look at the odds to win the East here right now. The Cavs, of course, have the best odds at this point, but Detroit right in the middle of that mix as well. So they won't come up and surprise you anymore. Teams are going to be a little more ready for the Detroit Pistons coming up in this one. And you mentioned that matchup that they have against the Rockets here tonight, and this tall lineup that they feature, 6'10" inches on average across the way. And of course, then you've got the Thompson twins going head to head in this one as well. Amen and Asar as well, so they're ready to get going. So it's going to be a fun one to watch the Pistons and the Houston Rockets here in their matchup tonight. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with more here as we continue our look inside the NBA. Tonight's action, of course, and what lies ahead as well. Time for a little Magic. The Orlando Magic, of course, we're talking about, might be the biggest up-and-coming team in the league, challenging for that top spot in the Eastern Conference. More to come.
Make a move. I dare you.
With Ring, you can protect your home from anywhere.
FanDuel's dropping profit boosts every college football Saturday to turn wins into bigger wins. So how do we spread the word?
I got it. We boost our bus with massive rockets and fly to tailgates everywhere, from Nebraska to Michigan.
Yes, letting fans know they can boost any Saturday matchup.
Nice! Do we know any rocket scientists?
My cousin's good at math.
What's his number? Get a profit boost every Saturday with FanDuel. Plus, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
This month on Breaking Par.
It is truly a destination. The Old West meets the new beautiful golf courses. It's kind of a neat mixture.
Kind of have a little bit of everything.
I can't think of any better place to live than Scottsdale, Arizona.
I'm a proud Scottsdale resident and plan to be here the rest of my life.
It sometimes feels like you're just lucky to be here.
That is why Scottsdale stands as the best golf destination in the world. This episode has it all. Playing all month long on Breaking Par.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Some folks chase fish. Me, I chase the whole story.
Are you ready?
I'm hitting the road to fish the best waters in America.
Woo!
And meet the people who make these places special.
Good one, Jameson.
Every stop a new connection.
There he is. Fish on.
Every cast a new lesson.
Look at this thing. It's huge.
And yeah, a whole lot of fun along the way.
Yeah, boy. Fish on! Let's go! Oh my God!
Catch it all on Road Trip Angler.
Back here on FanDuel Sports Network Live as we take a look at the NBA this week. Craig Kashan and Mike Fratello on board with you, and we're going to take a look at one of Mike's old teams, the Atlanta Hawks, here right now. And their emphasis this year is on defense. However, it didn't go real well for them in Game 1. 138 points, allowed 86 points in the paint as well. That's the most they've given up in nearly 30 years. Last year, their team defense ranked 26th in the league. So they've tried to put the pieces together, and obviously it's going to be a little slow ride for them. Let's take a look at where this defense is to match what they can do on the other end of the court.
Defense has always been what I've prided my game on. Multiple years, I think I've been one of the best rim protectors in the league.
For me, defense is what gave me a second chance in the NBA.
It's similar to when you have a middle linebacker in football. There's a leader on the defense.
Oh, good pressure and a takeaway by Alexander Walker.
KP brings a lot. His ability to block shots at the rim.
And swatted down by KP.
Dyson has a unique ability to make plays.
Take it away!
It can be a really good combination. I expect us to elevate our level defensively.
The Atlanta Hawks are continuing their busy last couple weeks. I'm told they have reached agreement with free agent Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
A three-team deal lands the former NBA champion forward Kristaps Porzingis in the ATL.
I feel like the front office did a great job in putting those guys on this team, and I think with KP at the rim, it's going to be tough for a lot of those easy points that people get at the rim. Trusting first that they know they have a 7-3 guy behind them, so they're able to put pressure and get some deflections and create some opportunities for us. And then we have that second line of defense, where I come in.
KP just smothered Bobo.
I'm excited because now that allows me to be a little bit more aggressive. I feel more confident with the help that we have and guys that are able to throw different looks at teams.
Nickeil's ability to be out on the floor defending the ball, the impact it makes on the guys behind him when they see that. And I think his voice is really important.
They don't take a night off on defense, so we're all going to have to match their energy night in, night out.
Blocked by Jalen Johnson.
And be sponges with them because they all bring something unique on the defensive end.
I know if I'm on the court with those guys, my level has to even increase because guys are going to be trying to get away from them and get those guys off of them.
When you have five guys that are defending together, that brings the best out in everybody. We become a better defense from a team standpoint.
Well, the big ad defensively, obviously, was Kristaps Porzingis. We had a chance to hear from him, Mike. But tonight, he's got an illness, so he's not going to play in tonight's game. You know he's going to be back. You're the defensive guru here. You went through this with your team, with the Cavs, Mike. You set them up. You dedicated your team to defense here. We're seeing the numbers just rise offensively in the NBA right now. How do you approach today's NBA and becoming a good defensive team?
Well, it was a different time back then, but we had an incredible group of guys who I was trying to sell them on the idea that we can be a playoff team. We may not have the biggest names right now on our roster, but if we play great defense, if we don't give up any second shot opportunities, and we took the game to a different pace, in a different direction. We used up 23 seconds on the shot clock when we were on offense, and that helped our defense because the other teams became frustrated playing against us. They had to dig in and guard our guys. So you have to go out and get a guy that's got the physical and mental toughness, and that starts with your scouting program. You're telling them what you're looking for. You know, it used to be you would take guys from certain programs, a Bobby Knight coached guy at Indiana, an Al LaBalbo coached guy out of Fairleigh Dickinson, then he was the assistant at St. John's because he was such a great defensive coach. He was Bobby Knight's assistant at West Point. That's how much respect Bobby Knight had for Al LaBalbo. So when you'd go to their programs and recruit one of their guys or draft them, you felt you were getting a solid guy defensively. You have to have the work ethic, you have to have the toughness. Basketball IQ certainly helps. All those things added together with an idea that we need this one stop now to win this game. That they dig in, 5 people work as one. We heard the coach say it just there, that it's a special feeling when you know everybody's digging in at the defensive end together, willing to sacrifice. And with the movement, motion, offense, 5 people out there, we're seeing nowadays, a lot of decision-making takes place. You've got to be on top of it. You've got to be sharp mentally to avoid these slip screens that go for layups, the back cuts that people are making to take away the pressure defense. It's very tough to be a great defensive team nowadays. OKC has led the way by showing us you can do it and win a championship.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. They definitely have the right mix for that. So Hawks again in action tonight against the Magic. This is kind of a rematch of the play-in tournament game last year, the 7 versus the 8. Both of these teams have their sights set on finishing in that top 6, so they can avoid that. What do you look at this matchup here tonight? This Magic offense, again, this is the team that a lot of people are picking to potentially win kind of a wide-open Eastern Conference.
Orlando is going to be a special team. The one thing that was a minus for them that stood out the most from last season, they could not make three-point shots. They were not a great shooting team. Well, they addressed that by bringing in Desmond Bane. This guy can really shoot the ball. When you look at him, he's built so well, so strong. You think he's a middle linebacker in football. But this guy is 6'5" and doesn't look it because of the way he's built. But he can really shoot the basketball. He loves playing the game. He's a terrific team player. You've added Bane to the mix, and the young core. Banchero is a special player. The Wagner brothers, both will be back as soon as the older one gets off that injury list. And a bunch of the other guys, if they just can get a certain guy, okay, if Isaac could just remain healthy for them for a season, there's no telling the limits. He's 6'11", and he can give them a whole lot at the defensive end and at the offensive end. I'm talking about Jonathan Isaac here. This Magic team is dangerous. They're physical, they're tough, they can score, and they're very well coached.
Yep, they are for sure. And staying healthy for that team, obviously, it's key for everybody. But last year really put a damper on their progress, yet they still made great progress as well. Well, we're transitioning to some major news that I know a lot of you have heard about that happened yesterday in the NBA. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups were arrested and face charges as part of a pair of wide-ranging investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the mafia. Authorities announced on Thursday both had been placed on leave from their teams. The NBA said in a statement, Rozier is accused of participating in illegal sports betting scheme using insider NBA information. And Billups charged with allegedly wide-ranging scheme to rig underground poker games that were backed by mafia families as well. So the statement from the league, we're in the process of reviewing the federal indictments, taking all the allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. And this is from Chris Haywood, Billups' attorney, said in a statement, to believe that Chauncey Billups did what the federal government is accusing him of is to believe that he would risk his Hall of Fame legacy, reputation, and freedom. He would not jeopardize those things for anything, let alone a card game. Billups has never and would never gamble on basketball games, provide insider information, or sacrifice the trust of his team and the league. So obviously, this continues to be ongoing. There are a lot of obstacles for teams off the court that they have to overcome. This may be one of the biggest we've ever seen in the league, Coach. What are the first steps, I guess, for these respective teams and this league to move on and continue the operations?
This is a very, very delicate situation for an organization because, remember, the innocent until proven guilty. Don't jump to conclusions. Wait. You have to support your player, but wait for the facts to come in. Wait for the investigation to be over with. Wait for the certainty of things that they're being accused of before you make decisions. Then when you make decisions, you have a variety of ways to go. You can fine them, you can suspend them, you can break their contract if they're in violation of their contract and end the rest of the years that you might owe them. Or if they're found innocent, you restore them to where they were. And let's not forget, we had an organization just a few years back that had to make a very difficult decision. And that was the Boston Celtics with their head coach, Ime Udoka. And when in September, just before the season started, here we are at the beginning of the season, when whatever the allegations were against Udoka, the team took the choice of listening and then suspended him for the rest of the season. He is now the terrific young head coach of the Houston Rockets. He has moved past it. The Celtics have won a championship, but they took their time and they were careful in what they stated publicly.
Okay, we're going to step aside, come back with more here as we continue our look inside the NBA here tonight. First week of action. It has been a lot of fun across the league, no question about that. Wemby and Zion, two bright young stars, will go head-to-head tonight. We'll break it down next.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
All customers choose your own reward every day. FanDuel, play your game.
Shop security cameras this Halloween at ring.com.
Welcome to Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball. 44 of the best players on the planet on 4 teams. The excitement and anticipation are over. Time to lace them up and go play.
We've seen some of the best players in the world come through these doors, but the overwhelming sentiment, excitement.
The chase for the championship is on.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger.
You know that feeling when you step out onto a trail and you have no idea what's around the next bend? Bye, buddy. That's my favorite part. Woo! Unbelievable. I've hiked a lot of trails, met a lot of amazing people, and learned one thing. That's that adventure isn't just about the miles, it's about the moments.
Cut that, please.
Don't cut that. Turns out, are we there yet is the wrong question. The real question is, how did we get here?
What is there to say? This is breathtaking.
Catch it all on Epic Trails.
We are back on FanDuel Sports Network Live as we continue our look into the NBA here tonight. First week of action, Craig Kashan and Mike Fratello on board. First, you want to give you the opportunity to check out how to watch your games across FanDuel Sports Network. You can find us on cable or satellite, the channel lineup. You can log into your television provider to stream on the FanDuel Sports Network app. You can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network online as well, or you can watch us on Prime Video with an add-on subscription. So a lot of good ways to check out FanDuel Sports Network. The Cavs and the Nets are ready to battle here tonight as well. We're going to catch up with their television announcer of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Brad Doherty, with more on the matchup tonight and the start for the Cavs. Brad.
Thanks, Craig. And, Coach, I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys. Yeah, tonight's going to be a big game for the Cavaliers. Obviously, as we start out the season, had a tough loss against the Knicks. Get a chance to come back, though, tonight and play against a really young, aggressive Nets basketball team. When you look at the Cavaliers, you're looking at a team that has great depth, great size, great length, and obviously missing some key components in Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter, and Max Strus. But in tonight's game, you're going to see a heavy load, again, placed upon Donovan Mitchell as the primary ball handler. The thing with the Cavaliers, though, is trying to get out into space, play at a fast tempo. Coach Atkinson wants these guys to execute their offense quicker this season. Try to take advantage of the skill set of Evan Mobley, who's 7 feet tall, so rangy, excellent defender. Want to get him into open space on the offensive end, take advantage of some of that athleticism. The Cavaliers are a heavy transition break basketball team, trying to get easy baskets so they don't get mired down, and Donovan has to do something heroic. So look for a lot of ball movement with the Cavaliers. They're very crisp in that. The Cavaliers, though, have to do a better job on the defensive backboard all season long. That's an emphasis. Trying to get possessions in today's game is so critical because of the three-point shot. So it's an exciting opportunity for this young Cavaliers team if they want to win a world championship. That's what everyone's talking about in Cleveland. And again, it started it with the Knicks a couple of nights ago. Had a decent game, lost it. So you start over tonight. Another chance in the NBA to win a game. Thanks, guys.
All right, Brad, great step there. Appreciate that. And you take a look at the Cavs, and obviously a very, very special season a year ago for them. They start 15-0 on the season, had a couple of really long winning streaks as well. But it's different if you don't have a couple of your key guys right now that Brad mentioned. So where do you look for them to try to rebound and get back on the winning track here tonight out in Brooklyn, Coach?
They hung in there. Remember, they were down 15 points at the half to New York in game number one, came back, tied the score up 89-89, and played the Knicks right down to the wire with three very valuable pieces missing. And let's remember, Ty Jerome, which was a part of that 64-win team, is playing somewhere else right now. So this Cavs team is deep. When you're missing players, that's where the depth plays in. Who steps up, next man up. They've got players that can control the game in Donovan Mitchell, and Mobley is a terrific young player. As soon as Garland gets back, that'll give him another penetrator and a terrific three-point shooter. And he makes all his free throws when he gets fouled and gets to the line. Max Strus stretches the defense out. Hard-nosed. He'll defend anybody, stick his nose in there night in and night out. And there's a chance that DeAndre Hunter could play tonight. Questionable, but there was a maybe, perhaps, about an hour and a half ago that he might be able to play in tonight's game. These are three big pieces that they're missing. So you just can't just shoo this away and say, well, let's some very valuable guys to their team.
Yeah, it's amazing how many teams right now are missing, key players. You've already talked about it. In a lot of these matchups here tonight, only game two. There is a good matchup over against the Spurs and the Pelicans, ready to go head-to-head in this one. Wemby and Zion Williamson. You got a new shaved-down look Zion going up against Wemby, and it's going to be interesting if they do match up and when they do defensively, what they're going to do against each other. What's your take on that?
Look, you may not want to start Wemby on Zion for fear that he might get some early fouls, but inevitably during the course of the game, whether it's transition defense, whether it's switching the half-court offense, Wemby's going to wind up on Zion. And now Zion's first thing will be to try and blow by him. And with the power and strength Zion has, he will try to finish with a dunk over Wemby. Because even if he gets even or falls behind Zion, Wemby can block his shot. And Zion knows that. So we'll see what the field goal percentage looks like at the end for Zion Williamson. And you know they're going to mark down how many times Wemby wound up on him and what he wound up doing against those times he was guarded by Wemby. We know Zion likes to go to the rim, likes to play in the paint as opposed to playing from behind the three-point line. He'll take contact and convert. But doing it against Wemby is a much different thing because that big young fella can block it from 1.5 feet, 2 feet behind him. That's how long and athletic he is.
Yeah, indeed. And it's funny, you look at the blocks that Wemby had in that opener, it was 3, but it's just, as you mentioned, the presence he has defensively, you can't put into the stat book, can you?
No, think about this. Last year, playing only, 48 games, Wemby? He had 28 more blocks than Brook Lopez, who was number 2 in the league in block shots. He was number 1, Wemby. So in only playing 48 games to have 28 more blocks than Brook, that's saying something. That's saying how talented, how impressive this young man is at the defensive end.
So this should be a fun one to watch tonight. Let's take a look at the games across FanDuel Sports Network here. We've got a full slate of games that we can talk about, and we've already said a few of those along the way. Bucks and Raptors. The Bucks got to play without Kevin Porter Jr. here in this one. This game is just getting underway. And then you got the Hawks and the Magic coming up, Cavaliers and the Nets, Pistons and the Rockets, Heat and the Grizzlies. And then you got the Suns and the Clippers, the late game here. And, Coach, you know the Clippers well enough. You're part of their broadcast team. Kawhi and the Beard opener combined for only 25 points against the Jazz. They need to bounce back here. And obviously, if anyone's capable, it's those two guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game because that's another one of the deepest rosters in the league. They are probably the oldest team in the NBA. But they had a really good training camp. They played well in they manhandled Golden State. And you see what Golden State did in their last 2 games, or first 2 games, I should say. So I want to see this bounce back by the Clippers.
All right, looking forward to all the action. We appreciate everybody watching our show here tonight. Hopefully you will enjoy your games as much as we are as well. And that's going to do it for us here tonight. We're looking forward to seeing you again on FanDuel Sports Network. Big night in the NBA on the way. Enjoy it, everybody.
Hey, get away.
10 years ago, I invented the Ring Video Doorbell for moments like that, and Ring security cameras for moments like this.
We got you on video.
Protect your home the way I do. Learn more at ring.com.
Grabs the rebound, pushes it ahead, finds the open man, he puts it up, scores!
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis bring you VSiN by the Books, the show that breaks down the biggest stories in sports betting from the night before and gets you up to speed as a new day begins.
Essentially, if St. Louis wins that series, Dave, then you're in a pretty profitable spot to be able to hedge that National League pennant ticket.
If there's one kryptonite for Superman, it's the putter.
Start your day with all the crucial information you need to become a sharper bettor.
I'm always searching for the next incredible place